Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this new figure unboxing and review we're going to be looking at the Legacy Evolution Voyager class Trashmaster figure. So what we're going to do with this video is we're going to have a detailed look at him in both his modes, help you decide how you want to display him. I'm going to open up his accessory bag in a second. We're going to have a look at all them. We can see how we can use them again in both modes. We're also going to see how he looks and compares with some of the other junkions that have been released as part of the Legacy toy lineup, as well as some of the junkions from the Studio Series 86, and indeed some of the other figures that have been released in the same toy line. So quite a bit to get through with this video. So as I start to pop all these away, I'd like to remind anybody who's not subscribed to this channel, if you'd like to hit that subscribe button for me now, please. And the second is to thank Hasbro Pulse, because that's who I purchased this from. And as you can see, they got him out to me nice, quickly and safely. So before we have a quick look at the figure, I've just popped him out of the box just to make the video a bit faster. He would have been standing in there in robot mode, so because he's in robot mode, you've got the alternate mode on the front. We've got the lovely logo there. So on the side we've got the full artwork of him there, and indeed the bust and head sculpt on the side, the Legacy Evolution artwork that we're very accustomed to on this side, and indeed you can see on the back there he is with all of his extra parts. So I think first and foremost what we'll do is some first impressions, then we can have a look at some of the accessories, the alternate mode after that, and then come back for the final thoughts and other display ideas. So the figure itself, I do really like it. I've got to confess, I've had a quick look at this as soon as I took him out of the box. He is nice and chunky, he is nice. Yeah, he's just, I suppose he's thick set. He's nice, and I want to use the word blocky, but not like a G1 blocky brick, if you know what I mean. You can clearly see what I mean. Everything's in, squares or rectangles. So yeah, I suppose blocky is perhaps the best words I can use to describe him. This is fresh out of the box, so obviously he won't have any of the accessories. That's why there's loads of these ports everywhere. But the head sculpt does look really, really good. It looks kind of menacing in a way, to be honest. It does spin all the way around. He's got a little bit of a look up and down as well. The arms will go right out to the side, and indeed they will spin all the way around, nice and smooth. He's got a swivel under the shoulder. There's a bicep flexion there, so I need to turn the fists around. Yeah, as I say, I've literally just took him out, so this is obviously how he should be. He does have a waist swivel, obviously, but I think these are the skirts we need to just lift up. Yep, they spin around, no problem. Legs will kick really high up, to be honest. I don't know if it's going to be the same when we attach some of the parts. And quite a bit back. You've got a knee bend, an ankle. Have you got a rock? I know you've got a tilt. Have you got a bit of a rock? Yes, you do have a rock. That's quite stiff. In honesty, I thought I was going to break that then, but it isn't. It is supposed to do that. But let's have a look, I think, at the detail on it. That's what makes these junkions stand out, because they've got things like this, spikes on them, just little bits of metal randomly put on it. The colour schemes on here are brilliant. The colour scheme is just uniform throughout all of the Legacy ones, well, all the Legacy Autobots, obviously, and I'm sure you'll agree, just very quickly looking at these, that they just work. And to be honest, even with the 86 figures, which I'll bring in later on as well. So first impressions of this guy, really impressed, liking the look of him. I'm not going to say he's a bit small for Voyager, as I say, because he's nice and wide. Let's have a look at this. There is loads of accessories in here. Again, this is all completely new, total first impressions. So I've not seen anything on this, just seen some pictures on it. Aha, here is the infamous that I think becomes the head, doesn't it? That becomes the head, obviously, with Junkosaurus, which I'm going to attempt to do for you in another video. Then we've got these two bits, and of course we've got the back parts, which do form the vehicle. So the good thing about this is there's not too many, whereas with the others, the deluxes especially, they came with about 15-16 pieces. Right, I think that's all there is to say with regards to this particular mode. Let's have for first impressions anyway, let's have a look at him in his alternate mode, then we'll come back and do him display ideas. Okay then, so I've got him in his alternate mode, sort of, shall we say, because what I've done is I've done the transformation process and I've not attached any of these pieces. And quick apologies for no transformation process on this video. That is because I've uploaded a separate tutorial for those people who want to see it. Main reason, again, keep the main length of the video down, and the other is not to spoil it for anybody, with it being a brand new figure who doesn't want it spoiling for themselves. So as you can see, you can pretty much sort of make out that this is going to be a vehicle in a second, but I thought that I would do this with you guys just so you can see. So you'd get these two front parts, And I haven't done this yet either, so this is going to be interesting. Let's hope I get it right. Fold this part down. This is going to fit into there quite easily. What I do like about this is you can do the transformation process. And is that going to snap in now without having any of these pieces and without taking it all apart? And I'm going to confirm, sorry, just clarify what I meant earlier when I said about the 16 pieces, because obviously the main body you can pull into loads of other parts as well. So there's that, and it now looks like we attach these. So I was referring to the other junkions. I think you came with about 8 or 9 pieces, but you could break the bodies up to about 8 or 9 pieces as well. Right, these are going to fit on the sides. These are nice, really stiff to get in, to be honest, and you can hear that was clipping back in after I'd lifted that out. And then it looks like, yeah, this is going to go in there. So I think looking at this, the best way is to lift this up. These are going to attach into what you can see to be the fists. And are they going to fit? I hope it does. Sometimes that's the risk you take with brand new figures. They don't always. There we go. There he is. Do you know what? That is really, really good. Look at that. All the wheels. Are they going round? Yeah. Normally I jinx myself when I say things like that. They're all going round. They're all independent. They all look really good. These, obviously, you can see you can move up and down. We now, of course, know that you can move this up and down, which looks really good. The details of the chains, again, is fantastic. That is really reflective. I hope that's being picked up in the video. Same with, as I say, the windows and the top there, the additional spikes, they just really work, don't they? You've got an Autobot logos just, I've only just noticed, sticking up there. And then because you've got all of this, an absolute abundance, which it really is, isn't it? It's an abundance of 5mm ports. It really does look like we can attach loads of things to it. But what I want to do is what this Evo Fusion gimmick is, because I can see that it's here, and I imagine it's going to be something as simple. Typically, I bet this isn't going to fit now because of them folding underneath. Let's have a look. Let's separate them. No, I think fingers crossed. Yeah, it's going to work. It's going to work. So yeah, you can change all the fronts. It should work because, of course, axle grease is pretty much the same mold. I just thought I'd do with a scrap hook while I had him close at hand. That sort of works. Granted, I've not filled them in, but I suppose whilst I've got all of these pieces here, let's have a look what else we can do. We can make it look, no, we can't give like a side cart impression, but again, I might as well pull him to pieces whilst I'm here and give this an even more of a, suppose, a Mad Max sort of crazy futuristic looking vehicle thing. I mean, look how much fun this is. It's practically Lego building, isn't it? The fact that you can just keep attaching all of the bits on and off, move them all around, have a good play around. And as I say, they just seem to work. I'm sure you can put a sidecar on them as well with this. There's so many possibilities, but I'm not going to go through and explore them all in this particular video. For size, though, he's not the biggest truck. There is Legacy Prowl, which is a motorbike, and it's just the same height and nearly as long. But the junkions are all out of proportion, and as I've always said in all my junkion review videos, the get out of jail for me is that they're junkions and they can build them up as big or as little as they want to be. So there you go. There he is compared with Retgar. So maybe Retgar could use him as a sort of skateboardy thing rather than ride on top of him like he can ride on top of the others. Right, what I want to do now then is I'm going to pull off the parts which aren't his, and I've got the instructions ready for this just because I want to, I suppose, clarify what I meant when I was saying about all the particular parts. So obviously with regards to him, you've got these 2 parts. Let's take all the bits off that we've attached. They're not even his. So yeah, there are 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, there's not. There's 5 parts that come inside the packaging. And then looking at this, as I say, I've not done this yet. I'm hoping I'm not going to break it, but I'm pretty sure, as I say, that you can pull some of these apart. Can we? Yep, there's a leg. There's another leg. What else can I do? I'm just looking at this now. Does that come off? I've got the instructions right here. So what I'm trying to work out is how many pieces that I can indeed pull him apart. So we've pulled off the front, pulled off them, pulled off the back bit. No, that is it. So this is the least amount of pieces on one of the junkions, but he's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces, and I suppose that'll be beneficial for you if you're buying this on the secondary market and you want to make sure you've got all the pieces. Right, that's pretty much done for this mode. We're going to come back for the final time with him in his robot mode and do some comparisons. So then back for the final time with him in his robot mode, and I've attached a couple of the things, and I suppose this gives him a bit of a different dynamic. You can't really see the bit at the back, which does of course unfortunately give him a bit more of a backpack, but just the addition of these over the sides just changes the appearance ever so slightly, which I think really works as well, in honesty. I mean, you don't have to have these. We've seen that you can take them off because it didn't have them in the beginning at all. I'm just wondering if you could power up his forearms or something a bit like Nova Prime or anything, or even if you'd want to. I mean, you could do. I mean, I think sometimes when I go off the cuff on these videos, sometimes it's for good reasons, other times for this perhaps it isn't, but I don't really know. No, that isn't going to do anything at all, is it? It was just, it's made him even wider, which means there's less space on your shelf, so that's probably not the best idea. So you can have that with or without. I'm just going to attach it to him because once I've finished this video, he is going to go on a shelf, so I need him to be pretty much ready like so. Now, with regards to his accessory, this is the strangest, I think, accessory I think I've ever seen, to be honest. So we've got a dual way that you can use it by the looks of it. I mean, it looks like he's holding a rabbit's head when he's got it like this. Have I got the fists upside down? I can't think. That's really struggling to fit that in. Is that just because of the space, or is it because it's brand new? No, as you can see, I am struggling to, oh no, there we go, it's just gone in. So I don't believe it's supposed to go that way. I thought I'd just try it that way first and foremost because it does have, no, you see, you're not, but I wanted to see if it'd go in because it has got the 5mm peg, so you can turn it around and yeah, you've got a load of clearance now, so I imagine that's exactly what it's for. These should fit in because we've just seen them in the other mode, shall we say. So let's pop this. This is a really tight joint. You can see, well, not joint, whatever you want to call it, clearance hole going into this particular hand, so that is something to be aware of. So we can wield that there. I don't really know what it's supposed to be, if I'm being honest. It's always looked like a head, and ever since I've seen the picture of the Junkosaurus, it still does just look like a head to me. I think maybe though, if you could manipulate the arms together-ish. Oh, there's the jaw come off by accident. I was thinking maybe you could put it in both of his hands and have him wield it that way, but I might be able to work that out. I'm not too sure because that's going to get in the way. Either way, I think we've covered all the bases with how he looks there. Let's bring in, as I've tried to do a couple of times already, the rest of the junkions. So this was the first one, wasn't it? Scrap Hook. Watch me get the names mixed up now. Scrap Hook, then we had Crash Bar, and then we had Axle Grease. She obviously sticks out like a sore thumb, but I know this isn't a junkion, but nowhere near as much as Toyline, which of course is using one of the junkion's molds and is incredibly bright. With regards to some of the others, I haven't got them all for obvious reasons. There's quite a few now through the Generations Toyline, but what I want to do is just sort of highlight what I mentioned earlier about the fact that he's smaller in height. That's better, that's the best word. Smaller in stature with regard to his height with the other Voyagers, but you can see what I mean about the chunky blockiness of him. He's much more thick set, so you're getting about the same amount of plastic, I would think, for your money, to be honest. And again, I'm sure you'd agree, they look great together. I think they really do. This is going to, I was going to say it's going to be a fun toy line, but I think this is the last one. I'm hoping it's not. I'm hoping that obviously due to the popularity, which there is, of how good these figures have been, etc., that they do continue with making more of them. With regards to some of the other figures in exactly the same wave, you can see there that he's much bigger though than the deluxe ones, and he's of course way bigger than your core class figures. But I really do think that is all there is to say about this particular guy. He is great, he's a brilliant addition, and from what I've seen online, and I can't wait to see what Bob Bender does as well, there's gonna be some crazy things that you can do with this particular chap. I think I'm going to go just for one more attempt to pop that into his fist. It really is tight, but again, that's the reason why I keep these things in, just to give you an idea so you can see that that is quite tight. and he looks like he's got a giant rabbit's head to me. But there you go. That's all I've got to say about Trashmaster. Great addition to your collection. Do you think you're going to be picking one up as well? Let me know in the comments, guys. Take care.